What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my Monday Night Football Showdown picks for the first of two games, Steelers at the Giants. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. And let me know in the comments section, who are your top options at captain and in the flex spot? Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-point favorites, 45-point total. I'm expecting a solid effort here for the Steelers. I don't have a lot to like from the Giants, but this is Showdown, and there are a lot of options on the Giants that I think will stand out above the ownership. Now, we don't have that projected ownership yet, so this is my best shot at making a lineup for the Showdown slate for tonight. Let's start with the captains. Now, first up, I got to start with Saquon. He's the most expensive player on the slate, 16-2 for him in the captain spot. He also has the highest projection, or at least tied with Ben Roethlisberger. I think it's a little easier to get to someone like Saquon over one of the quarterbacks. I just think that there's some more variance in their outcome. Saquon is the second most often top captain. Now, if his ownership gets well north of 10%, I think I'm more likely to get to a James Conner or a Juju than I would be to Barkley. But for right now, just given the way that Saquon is popping in the sim, he is my top option if you're paying up. But if you're paying down, the spot that I want to go to actually is Darius Slayton. I think the targets could be essentially randomized through the Giants. But with Slayton at 7,800 as a captain and someone like Evan Ingram or Sterling Shepard, 10-8, 12K, you can save a lot of salary and really open up your flex spot by going to someone like Slayton. I love his projection right now. That would be 16.4 in the captain spot, around 10 fantasy points in the flex. I have him as the top captain option. Captain option, really difficult to say. Top captain option, 10.8% of the time. That's slightly higher than Saquon. He really allows you to do some big things with the rest of your flex spots. So if I'm paying down at captain, Darius Slayton is the place that I want to be. Next up at the flex spot, I don't have too much to add at the top. Saquon, Roethlisberger, Conner, Juju, Daniel Jones. All five of these guys should be making up the bulk of your exposure. They are the most likely to be high scorers. All of these guys are projected for at least 15 fantasy points or more. There's a gigantic gap between this group of five and the rest of the slate. So you're looking to have at least two, probably three of all of these guys. I think Daniel Jones, actually, given his price tag, is the best option at flex. But you should have a lot of money left over if you're going to someone like Darius Slayton. That really opens up the top end for you. Daniel Jones, though, my top flex option, showing up in that spot about 46% of the time. Then, if I'm spending down a little bit further, I'm probably looking at a little bit of Deontay Johnson. I obviously mentioned Darius Slayton at the captain spot. He still looks great here. Deontay Johnson, 5,800. You're trying to find that number 2 wide receiver that hits. And I think Deontay Johnson at 5,800 looks great. We had some talk a little bit about potential for the defense here, but with the Steelers being bookended by Deontay Johnson and Darius Slayton, those two guys have so much higher of a chance for me of being a top flex option that it's really hard for me to get to the Steelers D. They're just outpaced in fantasy points way too much. I don't mind going to the kickers. If I'm leaning either direction, it's Chris Boswell over Graham Gano. Boswell finishing as a top flex option 29% of the time. So to sum up flex, Daniel Jones looking great. You can easily afford to bring another top priced guy with you, whether you want to go double quarterback or just go all the way up to Saquon if he's not in your captain spot. I like both options. Love paying down for Deontay Johnson, Darius Slayton, and potentially Chris Boswell. Finally, we'll take a look at what my top fades are for the slate. Again, I think this is the easiest way to get a little different. First and foremost, quarterbacks at the captain spot. Roethlisberger and Daniel Jones, I'm just not all that interested in. I don't think they provide enough value for their salary. I would much rather go to the running backs or pass catchers from the Steelers and Giants. Evan Ingram, kind of anywhere, particularly at captain at 12K, but he's boxed in by Daniel Jones, $1,000 more expensive at the flex. Greatly prefer him. And I would rather save $800 and go to Sterling Shepard, who has a slightly better projection. Evan Ingram, not a guy I'm paying that much attention to, although if for some reason he happens to have wildly lower ownership than I'm expecting, he can be back in play. But given my sim, if his ownership is anywhere north of 20%, he's more likely to be a solid fade than a solid play. Finally, Eric Ebron, 9,600 at the captain spot. I'm just fully not interested in. 6,400 in the flex spot. Greatly prefer Golden Tate. After that, I'm dropping down and saving more money. I have monstrously higher projections for someone like Deontay Johnson, 4 full fantasy points, or Darius Slayton, 3.5 fantasy points. It's way easier to find better projections than going to Ebron. So you can either go up, spend a little bit more money and get a little bit more assurances, or go down and get a lot more value. But either way, it must be something about having ease for your first and last name. Evan Ingram, Eric Ebron, not interested. Alrighty, folks, that wraps it up. Those are my showdown plays for Steelers and Giants. One last time, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this content goes live. There's also another video. Click the link above, I think I'm doing this correctly, where you can check out my other Monday Night Football Showdown video. Best of luck on this slate. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow morning.